Okay, so here we have it. Another day back in the shop. Today I'm going to be making a kitchen countertop out of solid surface corian. This over here is my template that I made yesterday for the counter. It is an L shape countertop. We're not doing an integrated backsplash on this because it's going to get a tile backsplash, but it does have this angled cabinet right here, and the sink is actually going to be mounted right here. So this material does not really have any type of grain to it with this color. So what I'm going to be doing, instead of doing a wrapped counter where you have the grain go right here, then you have it turn and turn this way, and then you have it turn again and turn this way, I'm just going to be taking a cut from over there and gluing it on to here. Once I have that glued on, I'm going to cut out my shape of the countertop, and then I will flip the whole thing over and I will glue on my edge across here, here, over here, down this side, and this end is a finish edge as well. I'm going to glue that on to make it my finished thickness, and then I'll put my build up on underneath. I'll work on figuring out my layout for the sink, and I will work on actually profiling a radius of some sort around the finished edges. And then onto that, I will end up doing the finished sanding and all that prep work. All right, so today's going to be a little bit of a long day making all this. I'll have some stuff that I'll explain, other stuff will just be on time lapse. But for now, I'm just going to cut the chunk off of there, get it over here ready to glue on, and go from there. Alright, so I have this glue joint glued up right now. I sanded down just the top just so it's flat. There's still a line there that's clearly visible. That's going to get taken care of later. I'm not worried about it right now, because this step is when we take this template, we set it on here, get a little bit of dust that I kicked off. Yeah, we take this template and we set it on here, find our best location, and then we trace it, because we want to make this exact fit to what the template is. That way I don't have to scribe it in the field as much, and it makes my job a lot easier installing it. So let's see, let's go down here. I'm not going to be able to zoom in because it won't focus, but the Corian is a straight line, but the template doesn't run straight. Right here you can see, let me see, the finger's flush, but over here the Corian sticks out because the wall that it's going against tapers. And then same with this side over here, the Corian is square. It is 90 degrees from this corner to this corner, and it runs square. But if you look down the edge, it's flush, 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 and then starts tapering. And it actually tapers quite a bit. That's about 5/8 of an inch, if I had to guess, about 5/8. So I don't want to have to cut that in the field because that'll make a lot of mess, and also it's just more difficult. And then obviously this is where the cabinet edge is, and all these are cabinet edge, and this over here is cabinet edge. Alright, so I'm going to trace this, then I'm going to cut that out, and then I'll have to fight flipping it over, but yeah, I'll see you guys in a minute. There we have it. We have our countertop cut to size, and I already started laying out where I'm going to put the sink. If you can see, there's a couple pencil lines in here. That is the layout for the cutout of the sink, because the sink is actually larger. It's going to get undermounted, and it has a flange. So essentially the reverse side, imagine if this was down, there's a flange that sticks over right here, and then this is the actual sink bowl itself. This is going to get mounted on the underside right there with the arm that mounts over and clamps the sink down, including the silicone to hold it. So I started laying all that out. I figured all my dimensions. Now I'm going to drill a couple holes and then do a rough cutout of this with the jigsaw, and then do a finish trace with the router to get a nice smooth cut. Alright, I'll set this up think I'm going to do that in real time because it's kind of cool seeing the dust fly everywhere with the router. Alright, there is our sinkhole. Still needs a little sanding, but a lot better and smoother of a cut than what a jigsaw would do, so it's a lot less sanding. Now I have to flip it over, and on the underside, can you see it? Right there, I have to grind off this joint. I have to put a cleat over it to support it. Same with this side over here. Is that even zooming in? Yeah, right there. And then I also have to glue on the perimeter edge. I have to put on all the blocking for support. And let's get going on this. So what I'm doing with this is I'm actually holding the edge of the corian slightly over, so later on, once I glue the new corian strip on, that I can just go around the entire perimeter and route it perfectly flush with the top. I like doing it that way because if I ever clamp on the edging slightly imperfect or not straight because I don't have these blocks close enough or far enough away or whatever, I can route the edging to match the top. The reason you have these blocks to begin with is when you go to clamp them on, clamp the edging on, the clamp will be pushing it back this way. So blocks are just temporary. They get knocked off after the glue sets for the edging. These blocks, I am putting the glue on the cut edge. I don't want to put the on the smooth edge, because when you glue that down, you go to knock it off, you end up leaving a chunk behind, where the cut edge seems to release a lot easier. And you gotta be careful not to get it on your finger, because it is called hot melt glue for a reason. It's hot. It doesn't feel good when you get it on you. Alright, there's all our blocking. I'm going to take a minute and cut all the edging, get that laid out and prepped. I'm not gonna record that, because that's gonna be a little bit of a time consuming thing to record it and try and fit it all. But once I go to glue it, I'll be recording that. Alright, see you in a couple. Here we are. I have the countertop pretty close to done, but I didn't get a recording of this. I mounted the sink to it. I have these anchors right here that are glued to the surface, and then it has a mounting hardware that clamps onto the sink, and you seal that with some nice 100% pure silicone that glues the top and the sink together, but it also seals it from any type of leaks. So on this sink, because it's a deeper sink, it's a larger one, so it can hold more weight, I decided to do 8 of these mounting brackets. Most sinks, I think they only recommend 6. You can always go more, but yeah, I think they typically only recommend 6 on sinks. But like I said, this one was a larger one, deeper. It's going to have the possibility of having more water and dishes and everything in it, so I decided to go with 8. I also have all of the edging glued on, and I have the substrate buildup. So what I was taught is you do not ever, with solid surface, you do not ever want to cover the entire surface, because what'll happen is when you glue on your full substrate, that will grow and shrink with humidity or temperature at a different rate than the actual solid surface or the Corian will. And when you do that, you risk the possibility of cupping, warping, and worst case scenario, splitting and cracking. So I was always taught to just do a perimeter around it. That way the back of the cabinet will sit here, the finished end of the cabinet, and then the front of the cabinet will sit over here along the entire thing. All right, I am going to stand this up. Actually, no, I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to inspect all the silicone in the sink, then I'm going to stand it up and inspect the counter surface, make sure I have it all finished like I want, and yeah, this countertop will possibly be considered done. I might have to touch it up a little, but once I get it flipped over, I'll get another video of it. See you in a minute. Alright, here we have it. This is the finished countertop. All I did was flip it over. I cleaned off a little bit of the silicone that I happened to smear and smudge all over stuff, because that stuff happens to get on everything. But yeah, this is our countertop. It's not a big one, but serves its purpose. It's got a nice big sink in here. I think it was 9 inches deep. I actually gotta measure that now. Let's see. 10.5 inches deep. So it's a deep sink. I like it. I like the rectangular of it. But that's it. Maybe I'll get a picture or two of this installed before I post this video. Oh yeah, I still do have to drill for the faucet. It's going to be back here. I'm not doing that until I'm in the field with it because of certain locations in the cabinet. Just make sure the client likes where we're putting it. But yeah, alrighty. So if I get pictures, they'll be after this. See you guys.